If you are taking the PMP exam, stick around because I'm going to share with you 5 essential tips to passing the PMP exam on your very first try. If you want to ace this exam on your first try, my friends, you need to be aware of the exam format. The exam format and the types of questions that you will face is key. Number 1, know the exam format, understand the exam structure and the types of questions, because this will help you prepare more effectively and manage your time on the exam day. Someone says, but Phil, what is the format of the exam? The exam questions are similar to what I'm about to show you. You can have questions that state a scenario. PLI, a web design firm, is working on a project to redesign a client's e-commerce website. The project has a tight timeline of 4 months and a budget of $100,000 and stakeholders with competing self-interest. How should the project team engage stakeholders in a web design project? The questions normally pose a scenario and what should the team do, or what should the project manager do? Here's another one. Which of the following best describes the strategy that the project team should use to engage Jen and Shona, the customers? Here's another one. How can a project team anticipate future budget challenges? So the questions are all in this format of, here's a scenario. It's a real world sounding project. What is the best course of action the project team can take? What should the project manager do next? That you need to be well aware of. Secondly, as far as the exam format, the exam is broken down into 3 buckets of people, process, and business. And you need to be all over these areas. This is 42% of the exam. This is 8% of the exam. And this is 50% of the exam. You need to be aware of this. In addition to this breakdown, we can also break the exam down into agile and hybrid, which is 50% approximately, and predictive, which is 50% approximately. These are 2 things you need to know. I want to make it very clear. The exam is not based on this book known as the PMBOK Guide 6th edition. The exam is not based on this book known as the PMBOK Guide 7th edition. The exam is not based on this book either, known as the Agile Practice Guide. The exam is based on a document known as the PMP Exam Content Outline. And to be perfectly honest, having this book is almost as though you have some insider information. Even though it's above board, this used to be sold for the price of $39.99 back in the day when I took the exam. I found it hard to fork out that money back in the day, but now it's totally free. This is what it looks like. It's called the PMP Exam Content Outline. I'm going to put a link for you below, but if you scroll down to the section where the exam is broken out, you can see. If you go to the subsequent sections, you'll find the full breakdown of every single one of these. So the essential step, number 1, my friend, is to know the format, know what the questions look like, just as I showed you. Number 2, study smart, not hard. You need to develop a study plan that works for you, using a variety of resources and focusing on areas where you need the most improvement. This will maximize your chances of success. For me, I was all over cost and schedule. I didn't need to spend that much time with those, but I ended up spending more time on resources, procurements, stakeholders, because those were areas I was lacking. Spend time in areas you're lacking. If you need a variety of tools, look for tools that help you study better than others. If you don't have a study plan, let me invite you to look for the 40 Days to PMP Exam Success Study Plan. This plan is totally free. So there is the plan known as the 40 Days to PMP Study Plan, click on a link and it will take you straight to a video where you can watch a video that breaks down each one of these tasks. Again, it's a PDF. It's a brilliant way of you being accountable, studying a task each day. And at the end of 40 days, you will have covered everything you need to know for the exam. Moving ahead here, my friends, to the third point, think like a project manager. Applying project management concepts and principles to exam questions and scenarios will help you approach the exam with the right mindset and increase your accuracy. So what do I mean by this? Well, think about it. If you're taking PMI's exam, you need to think like a PMP certified project manager that has the ability to apply resources to the project, make decisions, and firing and hiring decisions. Although the answers are generally not to fire the team, the answers are generally to equip and build the team. So it's a mindset of positivity. So you got to think like a PMP certified project manager. I say thinking like a boss when you answer those questions. So what should a project manager do next is to be active, to be agile and respond to the situation at hand, is to be decisive. Number 4, practice, practice, practice. Taking practice exams, reviewing your answers, and learning from your mistakes. This will boost your confidence and help you identify areas that need more attention. When I trained the Department of Commerce, there was one student who kept taking one particular mock exam over and over again. He took it 4 times. In fact, that was the only mock exam he took, but he was pounding on this mock exam to find his gaps and close his gaps, and close his gaps he did. And he is now a PMP. This is exactly what you need to do when you're preparing for the exam to better your chances of success. Find your gaps. Find those questions that are curveball questions that you can learn a ton from. Number 5, you need to stay positive and stay focused. Keeping a positive attitude, managing exam day stress, and staying focused on the big picture is going to help you stay motivated and succeed. This is such an important point that I had to call in the big guns. I had to call in my PMP champions who have been there, done that, so that they can give you some advice about what you need to do. So here is my first PMP guru. Her name is Vicky. 70 years old she was when she took the exam, and she is going to share right now what she did and how she succeeded. So let's listen to what she has to say to us.
Phil, the other thing before we get off here, when I was asked about how many hours did you study, I studied every hour that I was driving to work. That would be at 2.5 hours, every Monday through Friday, that I was listening to Phil talk in my ears. And then, yes, I did put Phil in my ears a few times when I was going to sleep. Not that he was boring, but it was I needed to brainwash my head and used PMI terminology. So I used a lot of the YouTube videos driving back and forth, and I was afraid I was going to get pulled over. But I tell him, look, I can't read the questions he's asking. Okay, I'm just driving. So anyway, I did have a lot of time that was audible instead of reading a book or doing stuff on the computer.
Absolutely. And I just put in the PMP exam radio show. Look.
So the PMP exam radio show I'm talking about is a great tool for those of you who need to study on the go. Just go to pmradio.org and you'll be able to do what Vicky did. Now let's listen to Taji, another of our PMP gurus.
It actually points to a page of why you got the answer wrong. I go to the page and go, okay, that's why I got it wrong.
You are a product of the process, and I'm so proud. Let's take a look at your Agile practice guide, please. Can you just show us that too? Let
It's
people
the same
see.
as the other one.
People
It's
need
like
to
it has
know
all
how to
these
study.
cheats
This
in
is how it's
it
done, man. This is
and
how it's done.
you know, notes and on the tabs and highlights. Oh, I've been through the whole guide. I've
Wow.
been through this one twice because it's shorter. The PMBOK guide, you know, so it
Wow.
says Chief Value Officer right there.
I like it.
Scrum Master. Oh, and they had Flow Master on there. I was
Oh,
surprised today. They had Flow Master.
I should mention, yeah.
And you never mentioned the Flow Master, but I read it somewhere.
Yeah, and you know the thing
Equivalent to the Scrum Master,
yeah, you know the thing about the PMI, it's their game, it's their court, it's their ball, so they just use whatever they want, whenever they want, without rhyme or reason. And honestly, I would never have thought that again, your exam would be one of this, because I can count them on my 5 fingers. The students who have had 90% predictive, now use 70% predictive, a few that said 50% predictive. I can almost count them all on one hand. They're not a lot. But who would have thought your exam would be another?
Oh, I was begging for agile because I felt agile. The questions would be shorter. You know, these they were so situational. The process and the people group, they were so situational. It was a lot of people, a lot of process.
I want people to know that you were able to handle it because of all the work you did. And Taji, I know you don't have a physical copy of it, but let's talk about the third book that you read, which is the.
Oh yeah, I only have the PDF for that.
Yeah, you've got a PDF, so I can imagine if you've got a physical copy, and you did want a physical copy, but there's just not enough time.
Right.
You went through
because I like to write. I'm old school, you know. I like to write and annotate.
Yeah, but you were so quick, Taji.
So Taji is telling us how she studied, and she says she likes a physical copy because she's old school, and we're all different in how we study. Next, we're going to listen to our friend Brendan. Brendan is going to talk to us about how he passed his PMP exam. Let's listen.
And then I went for a different exam center, and yeah, here we are.
So you open up the exam and question 1 hits you, and is it like, cool, no big deal, let me answer this and move on? Or did it stop you?
Quite the opposite, Phil. So quite the opposite. So as you know, myself and you had a conversation the previous nights before my exam, and once again, thank you for that. That was just what I needed. Literally 20 minutes after that conversation, I put it down, had hearty food, watched a movie with my wife, and just owned it.
Good man.
So yeah, got into the exam, and I did your mock exams, and I did relatively well there, and I was finished well ahead of schedule in terms of time allocation, and I took that into the exam, which was stupid of me, in all fairness. And I spent a lot of time on the first 60 questions. One, because it did rattle me. Unfortunately, it's not that the first question was so difficult. It's just you want to make sure you hit the first one and you hit it on the nail, because that's your confidence booster. A lot of your lessons learned previously, I listened to them, but I didn't apply the knowledge, is when you flag it, come back, build your confidence as you go on. So that's something I might have neglected, and I would definitely advise flag it and get your confidence up. But anyway, so I spent so much time on the first 60 questions that I was left with just over a minute to do 120 questions.
So another lesson to be learned from our friend Brendan. Now we are going to listen to our friend Anne, and she's going to share her experience.
Yes.
And how many minutes do you spend on that brain dump?
I don't even know, Phil, to be honest with you. And it's like, you know, you get a break after every 60 questions. So the first break, I just ran to the bathroom, drank some water, and came back and started my exam. The second break, I was like, no, I don't want another break. I just want to finish it. And then so something told me, like, I looked at the questions, I had like 40 questions left, and something told me, look at the time, I only had 10 minutes.
What?
I was like, how am I going to answer 40 questions in 10 minutes? So I said, you know what? I'm not going to read the questions. Let me just read the answers. So anything that said, you know, train the staff, or open communication with a stakeholder, or anything that's like that, I said, yep, you're coming with me. Yep. I said, Lord, please let these answers pop out. And I'm just like, collecting the answers.
Wow. Wow. It's been such a journey, and to have seen you just go through the journey from beginning to end, I want to applaud you personally. There's one thing that happened that made me know, yeah, he's gonna get it. It was when you spoke German. I'm like, he picked up this language in record time, and is like, you're actually quite, how should I say, versatile in adapting, because I gave you something to interpret in from English to German, and it wasn't easy. And when you did it, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna, if he can do this, he's gonna get certified. So that was when I knew I'm not gonna worry about you anymore. So it's come full circle. I'm really excited and happy to be interviewing you now as a PMP boss. So let's talk about, why did you want to do PMP in the first place? And what was your online course experience with me like?
Yeah, actually, why I really want to do I decided to go for PMP. But I think the drive came through from my wife, actually, because I had in one way or the other engaged in different, not really deeply into project management, but I was more into like stakeholder engagement and willingness to solve the problem and to make changes in my environment to create value. But I never knew that I have the skills, the competence to be a PMP or a project manager. Until my wife just told me like, but you have done a lot in your community, trying to engage to different stakeholders.
Personally, there's one thing that happened that made me know.
And that is rather interesting to hear our friend Taiwo just talk about his experience and how he was not really thinking of taking the exam, but eventually he discovered
he's gonna get it. It was when you spoke German.
Let's
I'm like,
hear
he picked up this language in record.
a few other students share their lessons learned. We have a few others here. We're going to listen to Nicole. Here's Nicole.
Was it difficult from the agile point of view or from the predictive point of view?
Predictive. Yeah.
So there's no shortcut. You still got to know what each process is at a minimum and what exactly you're doing. But do I need to memorize anything about tools and techniques? Do I need to memorize that? Or do I just need to know it?
You need to know it. Memorizing it is not going to help you because they did not have words said.
It's not about the memorization, says Nicole. All right, let's listen to another friend of ours here. We're going to listen to Fabrizio. I call him the mastermind. He started our daily Scrum movement with a great idea. Here's Fabrizio.
Started like as I should. I just took a little lecture of your immersion book, but really I feel like enough knowledge that I had was already in my head. So because I got deep in Agile at the start of the program, so I don't know. I think I found myself very identified with Agile because I'm like a change driven. I like change.
All right, good stuff from all of our friends here, each of them sharing their own unique perspective about how they were able to ace the exam. So in summary, my friends, the 5 steps to you acing on your first try: know the exam format, study smart, not hard, think like a project manager, practice, 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 and stay positive, stay focused, positive mental attitude, manage the exam day stress, and stay focused on the big picture. All of these things will help you dominate, boss up, and ace the exam. I wish you all the very best. If you have questions for me or any of our speakers, put them in the comments below. Bye for now.